Hi, I'm Catherine from Richmond, Virginia, and welcome to Small Employer Qualified Plans. A retirement plan can either be qualified or non-qualified. To be qualified, a plan must meet certain IRS tax requirements, and in return it gets special tax advantages. In this section, we're going to talk about the requirements for a qualified plan. We'll also talk about the tax advantages for a qualified plan, and then we'll talk about the 3 small employer plans. And those plans are the KEO plan, the SEP plan, and the Simple plan. So what are the requirements for a qualified plan? Well, first of all, the plan must be for the exclusive benefit of the employees and their beneficiaries. Next, the plan must be formally written and communicated to the employees. Very importantly, the plan cannot discriminate in favor of the highly paid executives or directors. The plan must be permanent, and it must have a vesting requirement. And vesting refers to how long an employee must work for an employer before they have rights to the money that is in that retirement plan. Any money the employee puts into the retirement plan on their own behalf is immediately vested, and the employee could take that money with them if they were to leave that job. However, those employer contributions may require that the employee work there for a certain number of years before the employee could take that money with them if they were to leave that job. What are the tax advantages of a qualified plan? Well, first of all, the contributions that are made by the employer are tax-deductible expenses for the employer. That can help lower the employer's income taxes. Those contributions are not in the immediate taxable income for the employee. That means that's pre-tax money going into the account. That money then gets to grow tax deferred, and that means that all the interest and dividends that's being earned in the account can stay in there, be reinvested and compound, and the money can grow a lot faster up until retirement. Well, it is supposed to be for retirement, so there are penalties if that money is taken out too soon. If an employee takes a distribution from the plan before age 59 and a half, there would be a 10% tax penalty on that premature distribution. And since the money going in is pre-tax and the interest is growing tax deferred, that means that no taxes are paid on that money until it's actually taken out at distribution. And that's why the IRS is going to require that minimum distributions begin by age 70 and a half. If the employee doesn't take out those required minimum distributions, the penalty would actually be 50% of what the IRS says need to be coming out of that plan. So those are the advantages of a qualified plan. Now we're going to talk about the small employer plans. Those are the KEO plans, the SEP plan, and the Simple plan. The KEO plan, named for a congressman of the same name, is also called the HR 10 plan. And that is for an unincorporated self-employed person, partners that own more than 10% of the business, and their eligible employees. And to be eligible, an employee must meet the 1-1-1 rule. That means they have to be at least 21 years of age, have worked for the employer for more than 1 year, and work more than 1,000 hours per year. The employer makes contributions into the plan, and those are tax-deductible expenses to the employer. That money then grows tax deferred. If the employee takes a distribution before age 59 and a half, there would be a 10% penalty, and they must begin those distributions by age 70 and a half to avoid that 50% tax penalty. So that's the KEO plan. The next plan is the SEP plan. SEP stands for Simplified Employee Pension. With a SEP plan, individual retirement accounts are opened up for each of the eligible employees. To be eligible for this plan, an employee must be 21 years of age and have worked for the employer for 3 of the last 5 years. Now, those IRA accounts have higher limits than a regular IRA, and it is the employer who is making those contributions into the plan. The employer gets a tax deduction for those contributions, and that money is immediately vested for the employee. However, it's not immediately considered in their taxable income. That money does grow tax deferred, so there would be a tax penalty if a distribution is taken before age 59 and a half, and distributions must begin by age 70 and a half to avoid that 50% tax penalty. The last small employer plan is the SIMPLE plan. Now, SIMPLE is an acronym for Savings Incentive Match Plan for Employees. And this is a plan for businesses with fewer than 100 employees. As with the SEP plan, individual retirement accounts are opened up for all of the eligible employees. But instead of the employer making contributions into the plan, this time it is the employee making those contributions. Now, the employee does have an incentive to make those contributions because the employer makes matching contributions up to 3% of that employee's income. Those investments do grow tax deferred. There is a penalty if distributions are taken before age 59 and a half, and distributions must begin by 70 and a half to avoid that 50% tax penalty. So just to summarize, in this section we've talked about the small employer retirement plans. We talked about the requirements and the tax advantages of the small employer plan. We talked about the KEO plan, the SEP plan, and the SIMPLE plan. So thank you for joining me for Small Employer Qualified Plans.